Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, it's time to keep moving on because it's past 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. right here, and it is time for me to say greetings to the entire world because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and we communicate with you all over the globe. Let me say very special night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and as well to the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian division and Caribbean diaspora around the globe. I know that some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning, and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I must, at all times, thank those who continue to share that link. Because whenever you share that link, you bring us first-timers. And for the first-timers, I say welcome and trust and hope it would not be your last time. And if you love it, go tell it to the whole wide world. And if you don't, find a way to come and tell it to me. But for the first timers, Straight Talk, I must inform you, is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And my Straight Talk family, I always hasten to pledge, and this is in particular for those who are our first-timers. For our first-timers, I want to inform you. As your host, I pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I'm always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine. An excerpt goes like this, a hymn written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. And an excerpt goes like this, which is always my point of departure, because we are called to be God's prophets, searching for the truth and for the right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Dog family, especially you first timers, be advised that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never tried to make it more interesting, neither by omission nor by exaggeration. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism or creating excitement, not at all. Especially when it comes at the expense of the truth or accuracy. Because we always try to lean on the facts. And a good friend of mine WhatsApped me, my namesake, and he was challenging, and he admonished me to always, our Straight Talk is about the facts, and I agree with him wholeheartedly because of a comment I made, but that's for another time. But we're not about sensationalism. We're not about creating excitement, my Straight Dog family. We present what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in the Federation, in the Caribbean, in the diaspora, or wherever we are in the world. Because we are joined together, I should say, with people across the Federation. We're joined with people in the diaspora around the world, and some we know, some we do not know, we never met, physically that is, and some we will never meet. But the point is that we are a different people. We are a diverse bunch of people. So we get and we entertain different views. And that's okay. Because we will agree with the positions of truth, or some will agree, I should add, with the positions of truth advanced here on Straight Talk. And some will disagree, and that's fine. Because like I said, we are diverse people. But what will disappoint me, trust me, what will disappoint me, my Straight Dog family, if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let us, my Straight Dog family, thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks one more time for those who continue to share the link. You bring us first-timers, please continue to do so. May I also inform the first-timers that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are on your monitors, on your screens. The email address for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, that address is also on your screens. There's some of you who have access to Alexa as well, and those who do and never tried it, just try Alexa play Massive Vibes Radio. Just say Alexa play Massive Vibes Radio, and you've got us live and lively. And my Straight Dog family, I must say a special welcome. That's an imperative. I can never have a program unless I greet my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, young Rue. I keep saying I haven't heard from your grandmother for some time in South Carolina. Trust that she is okay. Travis, Travon of Ponds Extension, haven't seen you for some time. Trust school is going well. And I can't ever forget my grandson Neymar and his good friend Soraya, else I will never hear the end of it. Elizabeth, welcome. And to that special lady as well. We normally have our observations in review. Then we highlight the current issues. We do some reflection. We ask a few questions. What was accomplished? How it helped others? What changed since? What is expected next? What we have learned as a people? Because it's a learning process, believe it or not. And my Stray Dog family, after our observations, we will move right into our thesis, which I've titled for tonight, Destiny, Power, and Leadership Tests. Drew shot the sheriff? That's the question we're going to ask as well tonight. And for our first observation, we are still looking or focusing on the Social Security Board. Social Security Board has continued to fail in the area of transparency. If you go to their website from time immemorial, going back years, you will find their financial statements. You will find all the reports. And for some reason, this new board, under chairperson Mrs. Harris, and this new director of Social Security, has failed to publish the people's business, the actuarial review, which is so important for us. That too has not been published. And I believe the time is up and coming for another actuarial review, which is done every 3 years according to the legislation. But Mrs. Harris, Janet Harris, continues to disappoint me as a former financial secretary and a good lady who is familiar, must be familiar with the legislation. I'm not surprised by the deputy chairman, Curtis Wimpy Martin. But we need to know, the people have a right to know what is happening within the Social Security Board. So we will continue to follow that anomaly, my family, and implore that these directors do their jobs, be guided by the rules of good governance and transparency. That's so simple. Why are they hiding the information from the people? Only heaven knows. Another area we continue to follow as well is the area of tourism. And we're talking about home porting. And that's good news. You've seen so many 4-ship days, and thank God on the Team Unity we constructed a second cruise pier that accommodates 2 of the Oasis class vessels, 2 of the world's largest vessels simultaneously. And our port is one of the few ports that can accommodate at one time 3 of the largest vessels in the world. And that must be high commendation. Remember, Labour under Douglas said, the new pier spoiled. But you see them post on their Facebook each time, 4 ships in the day. But had we constructed that second cruise pier, ask yourselves, where would we have been in the context of cruise development? But we also, in fact, had made provisions, the designs were already complete for the upland development. And for some reason, unknown to Straight Talk, Casper still feel comfortable, it seems, to accommodate thousands of passengers using the second cruise pier under a tent. Come on, we can do better than that. It's bad enough you gave us porta potties, Marshall, but let's move and get that upland development up and running as per the approved designs that are in the office of Casper. But we're going to just touch these 2 observations for tonight, and we'll move, in the interest of time, to our thesis, which I mentioned earlier. I have titled Destiny, Power, and Leadership Tests. Drew shot the sheriff. And my Straight Talk family, political language I submit. Political language in St. Kitts and Nevis has always been colorful. It has at times been combative and at times theatrical. And how many of us remember when Mark Brantley stood on a platform at Greenlands, and that was historic. First time a party from Nevis appeared on a platform, on a political platform on St. Kitts. That's when we, back then in 2013, had put the Team Unity concept together. And Brantley stood on the platform in Greenland in September 2013, to be exact, as a CCM candidate, or rather at the launch of Team Unity on the 26th of September 2013, to be exact. And he declared that the sheriff was in town, boasting at the time that Dr. Denzel Douglas feared him like monkey fears guns. And we recall Brantley said this:
I came over with a contingent of about 150 people from Nevis tonight. You all heard the Honorable Alexis Jeffers? Hot like pepper seed. That's how we do it in Nevis. Let me tell you something. This campaign has now started tonight. It is a campaign of unity. It is a campaign to take back our country. And wherever Denzel Douglas is tonight in Dubai, he frightened. You know why he frightened? Because Mark Bradley reads Greenlands.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
He freed me. He freed me like a monkey freed gun.
And yes, my straight dog family, and that's the colorful political language that I speak about. He freed me. Douglas freed me like how monkey freed gun. And the rest is history. My straight dog family, as Team Unity assumed office in 2015. But remember, before the change of government and purporting to represent the springtime crew, Terence Michael Drew declared with equal bravado that they had one shot for the sheriff. He said this.
There's a man who came over to St. Kitts and he think he could lever him out in St. Kitts as much as he want. But tell him, you know, the springtime crew ain't take that light, you know. The springtime crew ain't take that light, you know. The man come over St. Kitts and talk about his sheriff. But tell him, when the springtime crew done with him, neither he nor none of them got left standing because it's one shot we got for the sheriff.
And my straight dog family, obviously, my straight dog family, these statements were never literal. They were what I call symbols of power, dominance, and political conquest. Some were trying to achieve control, political control. But politics does not end at rhetoric. Eventually, words must be tested by action. In reality, the so-called sheriff was never dead, because once Dr. Drew surprisingly assumed office as Prime Minister, one of his earliest actions, one of his earliest and most, I must say, inexplicable moves was to reach out to the sheriff, Mark Brantley, who he claimed they shot by Straight Dog family. He reached out to the sheriff very early.
What I found was interesting is that Prime Minister Drew, who I don't have no agreement signed with, called me when he got into government and he said, Premier, you know he talk, Premier, you know anything about this money? I said, no, Prime Minister, I never hear nothing about it. He said, how you mean? I said, this money has been coming into the office of the Prime Minister for the last how many years? You don't know anything about it? I said, no, I never heard about that yet. He said, well, from now on, Nevis will get 25%. That's a Prime Minister who I don't have no agreement with. That's a Prime Minister who I'm not in cabinet with. The one that I had an agreement with and the one that I was in cabinet with was collecting that money every single year, and the people of Nevis knew nothing about it.
And my Street Talk family, what has followed since was not political warfare, but a very uneasy cooperation, I must add, where we have a leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, who is the Premier, behaves as though he is a government backbencher. But what we have is a very strange and sudden collaboration of political adversaries, I may dare add. Long-standing disputes were addressed, they say. Jew offered to Nevis 25% of the grant funds received as budgetary support from the Republic of China on Taiwan.
Since Prime Minister Jew has been there, I have said so publicly, that Prime Minister Jew has offered to Nevis 25% of funds that he has received from certain friendly governments to assist in development. Those funds total $7.5 million US. Nevis has over the past years under Prime Minister Jew been collecting 25% of that. Almost $2 million US. It is what we used to develop Pinis. It is what we use to develop our for Culture the cultural complex and the cultural village. And we had a little bit left over that we put into the Bath Street.
And my Straight Talk family, Prime Minister Drew also agreed, we were told eventually, to share 25% of the citizenship by investment, the CBI receipts with Nevis, following the World Bank Fair Share Report, which was requested under the third Prime Minister and Team Unity, Timothy Harris, which was never made public. But we are told that Jew has agreed to share 25% of the CBI receipts with Nevis, an issue on which Brantley had campaigned for years, what he called fair share for Nevis. Jew also supported key Nevis initiatives, including geothermal development and the long-awaited Vance Amory International Airport enhancement, for which Mark Brantley gave updates on both projects during his last press conference. On geothermal, he reported this, my Straight Talk family.
Geothermal, Ms. Budgeon, you asked, and just yesterday I was able to host a large delegation from the Caribbean Development Bank who came yesterday and met with us right in this room concerning not only geothermal but other projects that they've been involved in as they're now looking to roll out a new country project sort of implementation strategy for St. Kitts and Nevis. I was very pleased to engage with them, and from here we all journeyed up to the geothermal site at Hamilton, the first site. I can say that matters are moving, not as fast as I would like. I've said to them that, you know, sometimes the technical aspects don't move as fast as the political will. But nevertheless, matters are moving. I believe that I was advised that there were some just final questions to be responded to in terms of the bid process. But we have selected a driller. And I believe that that has been made public already, I'm advised. So that drill is Icelandic Drilling. They were the successful bidder. And we hope to have formal documents signed next month. This is what I'm advised, in February. And thereafter it's for mobilization and to get going. I anticipate, therefore, that we should have drilling commencing this year. Simultaneously with the drilling, we are going to be issuing the necessary RFP, request for proposals, and the draft PPA, power purchase agreement, to potential suitors who want to invest in the plant. So we'll be doing the two things in parallel to move this forward. The CDB is committed, 100% on board. They see this as a significant project for them, as of course the Green Climate Fund, and we are hopeful therefore that we can move forward with haste now that we have a bidder selected, and subject only to some minor matters with that bidder. I'm told we are now waiting for something back from the CDB, and therefore we should be ready to make a formal signing and to move forward. So I think that we've had progress, not as fast as I said as I would like, but progress nevertheless. And if you can sign off on the the production drilling contract in the coming month, I anticipate that therefore would put us in good stead and good striking distance to start the drilling. The broiler for...
And let's not forget, my Straight Dog family, that this is the production drilling phase, running, I believe, some 40 million US dollars, over 100 million US dollars. Then we will determine, once that is complete, what power can be unearthed, if I can use that term, extracted, perhaps is a better term. But then the power plant, the overall cost is some 400 million US dollars. Keep that figure in your mind. But then he reported on the Vance Amory International Airport development. He said this.
The airport project, just on my way here, I got a report from the project manager, who is Mr. Michael Perkins, and he indicated that they're currently on site with the surveyors, mapping out the coordinates in terms of roads and all of that. We were held up because the land acquisition has taken quite some time, the legal aspects of it, but we have asked permission from landowners, even if sometimes the transfer has not yet been finished, that we be allowed access. And so they've been kind enough to allow us, and so they're currently mapping out. So if you're in that area and you see clearance happening, it's all part of the, how should I say, the soft start to the project. They're doing that, and we anticipate that we're going to have a hard start to the project, actual heavy equipment rolling in very short order. We have been able to secure the funding, and it is just now a matter for finalizing all of the designs, and so that we can get going. And the survey is a critical part of that, and so the surveyors for the consultant on the project are currently on island. I'm told they'll be here for 2 weeks, doing the necessary mapping out. I think if you have come to any of the town hall meetings, you'll realize that we are talking about a brand new road, some roundabouts, and so all of that requires significant technical work that they are seeking to complete.
And my Straight Dog family, that's good news for Nevis. But let's not forget that Brantley has developed in nature and in name someone who never gets projects finished. Think about geothermal. Geothermal has its legacy issues. Geothermal has been around since some 20 years ago. But I provide you this background information because what Terence Michael Drew did were not the actions of a man who had shot the sheriff. To some, they may appear as the actions of a leader, choosing, one may say, pragmatism over bravado, or partnership over posturing. As one cannot lose sight of the fact that following the 2022 elections, Drew has since survived on a one-seat majority in Parliament after failing to receive a majority vote in his quest for his own party leadership. So he is not sitting well even in his own party. So in reality, like in politics, pragmatism often shows up when leaders cooperate with former opponents. And that's what the current disposition seemed to have forced Drew to do in order to build a relationship with Brantley, who with CCM in Parliament has 3 seats. And he has built, as I said, a particular relationship with Mark Brantley, my Straight Dog family, is something we continue to examine.
I reflect, members of the press, that the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, would have afforded me an audience with him in the very first week, in fact, in the early days of the first week that he took office as Prime Minister. And it was at that meeting that he and I canvassed the position that there was a need for there to be greater dialogue, greater cooperation between the island of Nevis and the island of St. Kitts, and between the Nevis Island administration and the federal administration.
So my straight talk family now, as I had a professor used to say, get up to date, get up to speed. Now, however, we arrive at a moment that carries real political weight. The introduction of the SSZ legislation, to wit the Special Sustainable Zones Authorization Act 2021 of 2025, and the proposed Destiny project in Nevis has placed that earlier political chatter under a harsh spotlight. Following the passage of this piece of legislation, Mark Brantley announced that the NIA has been formally approached by an investor seeking to establish such a zone on Nevis.
I address you at this time because the Nevis Island administration has been formally approached by an investor seeking to establish such a zone on the island of Nevis. That investor is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Matters are now under active discussion at the cabinet level, and no decisions have been arrived at. It is, however, important that I keep the Nevisian public fully abreast of developments to date.
And my straight talk family, that proposal, we later found out, was submitted by a company called Southwest or South Nevis Limited. My straight talk family, South Nevis Limited, which I place on your monitors, solely owned by Olivier Janssens, the objective of which is to develop a project called Destiny on 2,400 acres of land on the south coast of Nevis. Why would Terence Michael Drew tell the country that Destiny has nothing to do with the SSZ? My straight talk family. And you ask yourselves the question, is Prime Minister Drew just a compulsive liar, or is Terence Michael Drew daft? People have come to that conclusion because the Prime Minister, it appears, always speak or act before he thinks, or he is disconnected from reality or the people that he leads. The SSZ legislation clearly allows for the creation of sustainable special zones across the Federation. And the Destiny project is the first major test of how the power will be exercised. The Nevis Island administration, the NIA, has indicated its support for the project development moving forward. According to Brantley, the NIA has done its part. The concerns raised have been addressed publicly, but no agreement has been signed. This is what Brantley reported just a few days ago, my straight talk family. Brantley says no agreement has been signed, and he told this in response to a question from a reporter, my straight talk family, on a few days ago.
The concerns expressed, and we have sought to address those concerns publicly in a forthright way. And of course, to bring this into being, ultimately the agreement will be made public and will have to go to the Parliament. So we're not yet at that stage because the agreement has not yet been signed. But I can say that we've signaled that we are supportive of this development moving forward.
So, to bring this project into being, according to Mark Brantley, after everything else has been considered, the agreement is expected to be made public. In the meanwhile, approval for Destiny was sent to the Prime Minister, according to Brantley. Approval for Destiny was sent to the Prime Minister in fact, last month, December, Brantley said that approval for the project was already sent to the Prime Minister. And we always bring you the facts. So we will do that just now, my Straight Dog family, because we like to bring you all the facts coming from the horse's mouth, as we say, my Straight Dog family. And this is what Brantley said to the world just a few days ago, my Straight Dog family.
Destiny proposal, I can report that the Nevis Island administration, after exhaustive town halls and stakeholder engagements and feedback and exhaustive engagement with the proposers for Destiny, that we would have sent our approval for this particular project to the attention of the Prime Minister on the 23rd of December 2025. That's the date that I'm advised it was sent. The proposal has gone through, the agreement has gone through various iterations. The agreement, of course, is not yet signed, but we have signaled to the Prime Minister that we are comfortable with what has been proposed, and that was done on the 23rd of December. As we know the process, it now shifts to Bastille for them to look at it, but we are expecting that that will be dealt with in short order, largely because this is a Nevis project. This is not a federal project, it is not a Sinkits-based project, it's a Nevis project. And the Nevis Island Administration has determined that this project will advance the development of the island of Nevis. And we stand behind the project because we think it's a good project for Nevis.
Now, Straight Dog family, you heard the tone, you heard the content. But the project now sits on the desk of Prime Minister Drew for his approval, according to Brantley. So this is no longer about speeches. This is no longer about slogans or political folklore. This is about authority, trust, and respect within the Federation. If the Prime Minister approves Destiny, it signals continuity in cooperation and recognition of Nevis's right to pursue its economic development within the law. If he blocks or delays it without clear and defensible justification, then many will see it as a moment when political rivalry re-emerges under the guise of regulatory caution. Mark Brantley has made his position known to Terence Michael Drew, that Nevisians would not sit at the back of the bus.
And so you hear all kinds of stories and all kinds of chatter. But I get very agitated when I hear the boys in Sinkits getting on radio and saying what they're saying. Because I'm saying to them, you can't have mouth for Nevis, but you don't have mouth for yourself. And you can't now tell me how much you love Nevis and how much you want to protect the lands in Nevis for Nevisians. when in St. Kitts the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never seen a placard and I never seen a protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brandt is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop. And our young people coming out of sixth form, coming out of CSS and GSS, must have opportunity in this island of their birth. And if I'm wrong in that, then let me be wrong. But I will die on that hill. That I, as the Premier of Nevis, must create opportunity for our people on Nevis.
The Straight Talk family, you heard it from the sheriff. He's not going to sit on the back of the bus. Straight Talk has always advanced the view, let me state quite clearly, that the only justification to prevent the implementation of any project on St. Kitts or Nevis is if that project is being executed outside the parameters of the law or in contravention of our Constitution. And those issues have been raised vociferously by all and sundry. But Drew, give him credit, has set up what he called an ad hoc committee. Drew, my Straight Talk family, set up this committee to review the SSZ legislation. And Drew, my Straight Talk family, had this to say as well. Terence, Michael Drew made it clear that this committee will look at the SSZ legislation.
The other matter we'll talk to is about the SSZ, the sustainability zone. I want to say that 2 meetings already have been had with the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
The ad hoc committee, of course, is an extensive committee that I think is about 15, but if I mention some of them, we have the St. Kitts Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Trades and Labor Union, Bankers and Financial Services, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, Eastern Caribbean. Well, these are going to report. They're going to be a part of the committee in terms of giving us their feedback. We have Organization of Rastafari Unity, where it was extended, the St. Kitts Nevis Medical and Dental Association. We also have the Bar Association. That is a fundamental part of it. We have the St. Christopher Trust, that is actually a part of this as well. And so we have all these organizations that are coming together to advise. So they've already looked at the SSZ law, and what I've said to them, never before has this happened in St. Kitts. We see major developments, but nothing has ever come to a committee and then go to Parliament. We are shifting that. Why am I shifting that? Because there had been the major developments in St. Kitts and Nevis where that had not happened. Whether they were good or bad is not the discussion. It is that our people should have a direct say. And so you can look at the past and learn and seek to strengthen it.
Terence, Michael Drew, as I said, as you just learned, he's set up his committee and has also intimated his willingness to amend the legislation.
It has nothing to do with destiny. Destiny is a project that is being proposed that has not reached the committee as yet. That is being proposed. SSZ is a law that says any major project to be proposed in St. Kitts or Nevis must come through a process and must go to Parliament. I mean, you can't get more transparent than that. So I want to thank those who came to the SSZ, to the meeting to discuss the act itself. They are proposing, along with us, how ways in which we can strengthen it. And I will go back to Parliament as much as I have to strengthen the law.
And you've heard it from Terence Michael Drew, the Prime Minister. He will go back to Parliament for as much as he wants to strengthen the law. But Mark Brantley is, however, adamant that the NIA is ready and will progress. Brantley has identified projects in St. Kitts that are progressing without consultation with the people. One such project, my Straight Dog family, he referred to is the Fort Thomas Hotel. So he's making comparisons now, my Straight Dog family.
Big projects are happening in St. Kitts, you know. Mr. Huey, the way the conversation has gone around, especially in St. Kitts, you wouldn't believe that big projects are ongoing in St. Kitts. A man sent me a video the other day of some massive earthworks and thing up at Fort Thomas Hotel. Which are the pundits in St. Kitts you hear saying anything about those projects? You ask, is the public adequately satisfied? Where were the town hall meetings in St. Kitts about any of those projects? You live in St. Kitts. You are a member of the media. Can you say you know what the Fort Thomas project is all about?
And he's making comparisons, my Straight Dog family. Is he right? Is there one rule for St. Kitts and another for Nevis? Are there double standards? He referred to it as hypocrisy. So the question, my Straight Dog family, before the Federation tonight is not whether the sheriff was shot in a speech or slain on a platform. The question is whether political maturity will prevail over all instincts. This decision will reveal whether Dr. Drew's leadership is grounded in partnership or power plays, in federal balance or central control. History will not judge the metaphors, it will judge the outcome. A leader boasting that he shot the sheriff, while insisting the sheriff isn't dead, is political theater, and it's most reckless. The language flirts with violence to project toughness, then retreats to technical deniability to avoid responsibility. It is a familiar move. You signal aggression to energize supporters, blur the facts to escape consequences, and normalize the idea that power talks in threats rather than accountability. Even when no one is dead, the damage to trust, norms, and public safety can be very real. This is no longer the season for political metaphors or campaign bravado. This decision about the destiny will tell the country whether cooperation was genuine or merely convenient, or whether federal balance is respected or quietly undermined. This is where authority meets accountability. This is where rhetoric ends. Ultimately, this single act will define not who talked toughest, but who led. Any fallout would be to the detriment of Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew. Because a white man from Belgium named Olivier Janssens told Mark Brantley to jump before January. Remember this?
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far, but that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
So yes, my Straight Talk family, Johnson said he was not going into the new year. And Mark Brantley, like a house slave, jumped in December and sent the documents to the Prime Minister for his signature. I played that before, my Straight Talk family. He jumped like a house slave. And in December 23, he sent the documents to the Prime Minister.
The concerns expressed, and we have sought to address those concerns publicly in a forthright way, and of course to bring this into being. Ultimately the agreement will be made public and will have to go to the Parliament. So we're not yet at that stage because the agreement has not yet been signed, but I can say that we've signaled that we are supportive of this development moving forward.
Yes, I should have played that soundbite. We sent it on December 23, over 1 month ago.
Destiny proposal, I can report that the Nevis Island administration, after exhaustive town halls and stakeholder engagements and feedback and exhaustive engagement with the proposers for Destiny, that we would have sent our approval for this particular project to the attention of the Prime Minister on the 23rd of December 2025. That's the date that I'm advised it was sent.
So yes, my Straight Talk family, Johnson said to Mark Brantley, jump before January. And like a real house slave, he jumped on December 23rd, over 1 month ago. But Brantley displayed no integrity, no substance. He displayed that he was not yet emancipated, but just a weakling. So what is Brantley expected you to do? Just sign the document? No. Terence Michael Drew applied his discretion under the legislation. He referred to it as an ad hoc committee, my Straight Talk family. But Section 9 of the legislation speaks to independent oversight bodies. And I read, the Prime Minister, with respect to the government, or the Premier, with respect to the Nevis Island administration, may establish independent oversight bodies to receive and review applications from potential zone developers or to monitor zone developer compliance with the terms of any development agreement. So Drew set up his ad hoc committee.
The other matter we'll talk to is about the SSZ, the sustainability zone. I want to say that 2 meetings already have been had with the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
The ad hoc committee, of course, is an extensive committee that I think is about 15, but if I mention some of them, we have the St. Kitts Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Trades and Labor Union, Bankers and Financial Services, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, Eastern Caribbean. Well, these are going to report. They're going to be a part of the committee in terms of giving us their feedback. We have Organization of Rastafari Unity, where it was extended, the St. Kitts Nevis Medical and Dental Association. We also have the Bar Association. That is a fundamental part of it. We have the St. Christopher Trust that is actually a part of this as well. And so we have all these organizations that are coming together to advise. So they've already looked at the SSD law, and what I've said to them, never before has this happened in St. Kitts. We see major developments, but nothing has ever come to a committee and then go to Parliament. We are shifting that. Why am I shifting that? Because there had been the major developments in St. Kitts and Nevis where that had not happened. Whether they were good or bad is not the discussion. It is that our people should have a direct say. And so you can look at the past and learn and seek to strengthen it.
My Straight Talk family, Mark Brantley said, the document is on Drew's desk. He sent it in December in 2025. But Prime Minister Drew has signaled to the Federation that he is willing to go back to the Parliament if that he referred to ad hoc committee so recommends.
It has nothing to do with Destiny. Destiny is a project that is being proposed that has not reached the committee as yet, that is being proposed. SSZ is a law that says any major project to be proposed in St. Kitts and Nevis must come through a process and must go to Parliament. I mean, you can't get more transparent than that. So I want to thank those who came to the SSZ, to the meeting to discuss the act itself. They are proposing, along with us, how ways in which we can strengthen it. And I will go back to Parliament as much as I have to strengthen the law.
And my Straight Talk family, the legislation is being reviewed by this committee with a view towards strengthening the law, according to Terence Michael Drew. But this process does not sit well with Mark Brantley, who all of a sudden has become insular and speak about the rights of Nevis to develop Nevis.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never see no placard and I never see no protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, who can dispute that? Who can dispute that, my Straight Talk family? You see where Brantley has gone. Let's see it again.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never see no placard and I never see no protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
Out of order. You can listen to Mark Brantley. He can't stand up to Olivier Johnson's and want to push around Prime Minister Drew, and gets even more insular.
Developments are happening right in St. Kitts as we speak. Kittitians don't have a problem with development in St. Kitts. But Kittitians are telling Nevisians that we should not develop the South Coast in Nevis. Oh, that could, no, sir. How that could make sense? How that could make sense? And that is the problem I have, and maybe people don't like, because, you know, the problem I have in the country, you know, Mr. Huey, when you talk like this, they say I'm being divisive. They like to say I'm being divisive. Well, how is it being divisive by telling the truth?
It's not being divisive, it's being insular. And my Straight Talk family, in conclusion, I dare say, in the old days, Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw would have summoned Mark to Basseterre and stick the rod of correction in his backside. Excuse the language. Bradshaw would have reminded him of his God, put him in his place, and send him back across the Narrows to Nevis. We have heard about sheriffs being feared, and later about sheriffs being shot. But leadership is not proven on a platform. It is proven at a desk with a pen, making decisions that affect real people and real futures. The Destiny Project under the SSZ legislation now sits before the Prime Minister, and with it sits a defining choice. Destiny is more than a project. It is the real test of whether anyone truly, shot the sheriff, or whether the era of empty political bravado has finally come to an end. The Destiny SSZ decision functions as a leadership test because it forces the Prime Minister to choose between cooperation and control, partnership and politics, and the destiny of our beloved country. The decision will reveal not what was said on campaign platforms, but what kind of leader he ultimately is, to be determined by destiny, power, and the leadership tests. And no need to ask if Drew shot the sheriff. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. But Mark Brantley has sent his agreement to Dr. Drew, expecting Dr. Drew to yield and just sign it, and all is well. And you need not fear, because Mark Brantley tried something similar with the prison project, and the prison project is still going. So let's see if Drew shot the sheriff. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails, my Straight Dog family, any moment now. And when I do, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us ensure that the things we say and do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and or saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines at 9:17 and take our first call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liver.
Good night, my dear.
When someone feels they have the power,
feels they have the power
to do whatever they want, then their behavior will eliminate any question of who they are.
Question of who they are.
I repeat, when someone feels they have the power to do whatever they want, their behavior will eliminate any question of who they are. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well, my Straight Dog family. Always provide your thought-provoking quotations, and this one is no different. From across the Narrows in Nevis, when someone feels they have the power to do whatever they want, then their behavior will eliminate any question of who they are. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good. Yes, thank you, Brother Patches. Interesting topic. I've been waiting for this long time.
Thank you.
Now, I must say, across the Narrows, Mark is out of damning order. And he need to put in his place. As you stated, if Ratcher was alive, he would have summoned them to St. Kitts and put him in his place. Now, here we have Jew. And here we have Mark Brantley in real time. Mark Brantley think that Jew going to allow him to swindle and manipulate. But I'm going to say this to Jew. You are the marshal, and you got to shoot that sheriff, not violently. Use the pen and the ink. Because Mark Brantley think he is more than you in terms of commander-in-chief. You are the commander-in-chief. And I will stand behind you to fire that shot that you have and check your muzzle to see if that shot is rotten or if it is live to make that sound impact. You have the power now. Everything is in your hands. Everything is by your desk. And yes, it's a good thing to bring in other point of views and information of all those that you mentioned. I agree to that. We need transparency and we need interaction by each and every committee because we are all citizens and this is ours, not one person. So I will commend you for that, sir. But I will still stand on my grounds and I hope you will make a good decision moving forward. Thank you. I will yield for others.
Thank you very much. Imagine, Mark Brantley said he sent his proposal and he gets insular.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never see no placard and I never see no protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
Imagine my straight dog family. Mark Brantley or Brantley's Belgian handler said he wants this completed by January. So Mark Brantley made sure that he jumped. Never care about substance, never care about integrity. Surely not emancipated. So he jumps and he sends his proposal. Mark Brantley sends the Destiny proposal for approval.
The proposal has gone through, the agreement has gone through various iterations. The agreement, of course, is not yet signed. But we have signaled to the Prime Minister that we are comfortable with what has been proposed, and that was done on the 23rd of December. As we know the process, it now shifts to Bastille for them to look at it, but we are expecting that that will be dealt with in short order, largely because this is a Nevis project. This is not a federal project, it is not a St. Kitts-based project, it's a Nevis project. And the Nevis Island Administration has determined that this project will advance the development of the island of Nevis. And we stand behind the project because we think it's a good project for Nevis.
He can't threaten anyone. And he goes on to say, with his insularity, talks about petitions.
Developments are happening right in St. Kitts as we speak. Kittians don't have a problem with development in St. Kitts. But Kittians are telling Nevisians that we should not develop the South Coast in Nevis. No, sir. Oh, that could make sense. Oh, that could make sense. And that is the problem I have, and maybe people don't like, because, the problem I have in the country, Mr. Huey, when you talk like this, they say I'm being divisive. They like to say I'm being divisive. Well, how is it being divisive by telling the truth?
Mark Brantley has jumped to his Belgian bus. Don't want this to go into January. So he sends it on the 23rd, Christmas Eve, sends it to Terence Drew. And Drew, quite rightly, applied his discretion, set up his ad hoc committee, and Prime Minister Drew signaled to the Federation that he's willing to go back to Parliament. I must give Drew some credit where credit is due. I'm one of his harshest critics, but I give him some credit for that. Some credit for getting the committee to review the SSC legislation with a view to strengthening the law, and made the point that he will go back to Parliament. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Library, we just want to remind Mark Brantley that we here in Nevis don't want destiny, but he wants to push destiny down our throat, right? And let him know that Nevis don't belong to him and his family. It belongs to all of us. So we have a say.
Well said, my Straight Dog family. That's what Straight Dog is all about. And Mark Brantley faced Drew, set up his committee.
The other matter we'll talk to is about the SSZ, the Sustainability Zone. I want to say that 2 meetings already have been had with the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
The ad hoc committee, of course, is an extensive committee that I think is about 15. But if I mention some of them, we have the St. Kitts Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Trades and Labor Union, Bankers and Financial Services, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, Eastern Caribbean. Well, these are going to report. They're going to be a part of the committee in terms of giving us their feedback. We have Organization of Rastafari Unity, where it was extended, the St. Kitts Nevis Medical and Dental Association. We also have the Bar Association. That is a fundamental part of it. We have the St. Christopher Trust that is actually a part of this as well. And so we have all these organizations that are coming together to advise. So they have already looked at the SSZ law, and what I've said to them, never before has this happened in St. Kitts. We see major developments, but nothing has ever come to a committee and then go to Parliament. We are shifting that. Why am I shifting that? Because there had been the major developments in St. Kitts and Nevis where that had not happened. Whether they were good or bad is not the discussion. It is that our people should have a direct say. And so you can look at the past and learn and seek to strengthen it.
Yes, my Straight Dog family. Joe has taken a different route. And Mark, we must say, it's out of order. He cannot stand up to Jansen's, but wants to push around Prime Minister Drew. Imagine that, my Straight Dog family. And for those who are trying to get me, the number is 663-6672. That's the only number you can get to the program. Now, for those getting some calls on another line, but try 663-6672, please. 663-6672. And imagine, getting back to Brantley, imagine Brantley talking about his right to develop.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never see no placard and I never see no protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
So what was Mark Brantley expecting? He sent his proposal to St. Kitts on Christmas Eve. Was he expecting his approval on New Year's Day? My Straight Talk family, this is interesting. Caller, you're live.
Good night, Patrick. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Politics. How about now?
Hey, Patrick, I hear just hanging in, listening to the program as usual. And first, I want to thank God for this blessed country of us. But you know, when we elect leaders and we can't trust them, you know, we got to talk out the things. Because after we ain't going fool and deaf and foolish, that is, we got to see what's going on in our country. And first, I will say, that is man to man, man to man is so unjust. You don't know who to trust. Your worst enemy will be your best friend, and your best friend is your worst enemy. Some will laugh and drink with you. Anyway, Patrick here, let me move on. Patrick?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I just hope that Dr. Joe telling the truth with this one. And he ain't done sign after the things. Because Patches, the way how he going on, he come like the people of this country ain't gonna trust him and can't trust him. Neither he nor Mark Brantley, we could trust. Everybody don't know what Mark Brantley do. The theory of a unity government, we were doing so well for the people in the country. So we don't know, Patches, we don't know yet if this man don't sign off with this thing or whatsoever. Because if straight out might come and investigate that $20-something million, what Marriott get, and Sean never speak about it in Parliament, the people of this country would not know what's going on.
Harris.
You understand, Patches?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know if he don't sign off on these things or whatsoever, because from streets to get into government, you just campaigning. When he got the town hall meeting, when he got the press conference, when he got any kind of program with him on the radio, just keep on campaigning. And as far as I concerned, he ain't paying attention towards the project then he said he gonna do and all kind of thing. Look at the hospital up to now. Look at the school and different things, Patrick. Look at the housing project with the company from Trinidad. Look at that. 10 of these are people that anybody could trust. That is my observation tonight. What I see with this government here, that's why I tell you this man can just keep on campaigning. But you know that people working for government, some people working in the sugar industry, they ain't working not much. They're getting a small pension. You understand? And so especially those who in the public works area, them who doing the little school security job, are doing government security job. But as soon as they reach 62, bam, letter in the hand. They don't want to know if they got a little mortgage to pay or whatsoever. Some of them social security smart because they work in the sugar industry and they was working for next to nothing. Maybe they get a little travel and security job somewhere privately and they was working on the minimum wage and all these things, some of them. You understand? What I see now, people just getting left, right, and center letter. A guy complained to me the other day, he said he got almost 8 or 9 years. Right? Making it 20 years, got to Google, got charity, who help him pay. In a mortgage, he pay. A banking institution for. He said that, no, they take him off. They take him off. And what they're doing, what they're trying to do now, trying to get young people on these jobs. Practice young man, no one, they're going to job there. They're not going to step on the work. They're not going to do the work. That's why you see the school and so much government things, there's a break. You understand? The campaigning. You say something about it?
No, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the campaigning, they're trying to break the young people into the election coming up. And these are skillful young people who get a little shade work somewhere, they don't shade somewhere. Patches. That is not good. So people over 62, they don't care what. When election time comes, I call in these people in this country, you know. They better stop looking at this and open the door and see what's going on here. And see where the people after. Because just imagine you just wait 62 years. You got a little more 2 more years and got your with you. Damn the you have.
Okay.
And I come and talk about social security. What young more people in the country now kind of thing. We're making them much children.
Okay.
They're telling not a life on social security, nothing like that. Social Security and National Bank are one of the biggest financial institutions in this country. And people don't suffer. Look, every day, too much that announcement, people think that, and people, as well as some people don't even left the pension there.
Okay.
Some people don't they get the $3,000 and wherever nobody get it.
Okay, my brother, got you loud and clear.
But something need to happen, man. People need to do something about this. And forget about party. This is my party. Okay. No matter what they do, this is my party.
Okay.
This administration ain't there enough for poor people. If it was for poor people, they would not do poor people like what they're doing them.
Got you loud and
clear. Just
clear.
you off, they don't want to look at my Mr. Power, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, then, Patrick. The God bless you, kick it back. That's something that come back.
God bless you as well. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening to you. Yeah, good evening, Patches, to you and the listeners home and abroad.
Good evening,
Great points
my brother.
by that caller, man. Great points by that caller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Patches, I know he referenced a song. I'm going to reference a song too myself. There's a song by this and that. The White Man Wish. Everyone, including King this and that himself, should go back and listen to that song. It's really ironic to see that he, the King this and that, made a song like that where he made The White Man Wish. But they're all going along with the Destiny Project. There's another song by a Calypsonian in St. Kitts, only in St. Christopher. Patches, you can probably tell me who that Calypsonian is.
Lord Cut.
I don't have his name.
Lord Cut.
Okay, thank you for that, man.
Only in St. Christopher.
That's another song that needs to be referenced. The Patches, these clips that you lined up tonight, very well, on point. This is where the rubber meets the road. Who is the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis? There's a chain of command, and we know who stands at the top of that pyramid. The Prime Minister and not the Premier. The war of words. We just got to pay attention to the words these guys are trying to use on us. It's so funny. These guys seems like they forgot their history. Seems like they forget our history. Thanks to the first national hero, Badger, for all that work he put in to gain those lands for us. Now this man's work is going down the drain. Man, if I was his family, I would probably make them take this man down as a national hero. Because what this man's legacy is is not being followed right now by his own party. That you need to stand up and, exert that power he has as prime minister. Patches, I heard that he went down to Trinidad. We're going to clarify that sooner or later.
Okay.
The man needs to stay at home and work on the affairs in the country. The place have so much issues to deal with, man.
Uh-huh.
Very much. A lot to talk, man. A lot to unpack. And I'm from the Nevis end. I'm hearing Brantley screaming, about citizens, where he said about all citizens must be treated the same.
Yep.
All those natural born citizens who was born in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis should have the right to put their name on them ballots.
Okay.
I don't care if they have 100 passports from around the world. Because all of them economic citizens that's coming in, they and their offsprings will get that opportunity to put their names on them ballots over a natural born citizen who's been disqualified by a legislation saying that they pledge allegiance to a foreign country, when the politicians them underground is doing just that, pledging allegiance to the king and his years, which is a foreign entity. I'll leave it there for now, Patches, and I'll come back in. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. We go straight back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live.
Greetings, Mr. Patches. Greetings. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Greetings to you.
Very interested thesis. Very, very interested. And I heard just said tonight they give the Prime Minister some credit. Yes. I also, because I know sometime last year, pertaining the lands in Nevis, as though I may be mistaken, as though it is not too much a concern of him.
Right.
But if he's showing concern now, because if terrorism happens in Nevis, it affects St. Kitts.
Of course.
And if terrorism happens in St. Kitts, it affects Nevis.
True.
So if he's showing that concern now, it's getting very interested. You see also why you're getting so interested too. Something last year also, Mark Brantley said, nobody's smarter than him. And the Bar Association also showed that they unease about the project.
That's correct.
So we're hearing now that the Bar Association also is a part of the committee that is being selected. So from here going forward, Mr. Patches, the development's going to be very, very interested. You continue to be strong. God bless. Stay healthy.
Thank you very much. God bless as well. And you likewise, my brother. Stay healthy. It's 9:42. Remember, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 until 10 in the PM. This email reads, "Hello, Patches. Good night, and thanks for such a good program. I was listening to a show similar to yours. It was on Grenada, and the show is called Simon Said. And the host of the show is a female, and it was good. I would like you to contact her and have her as your guest on your program. I learned something from her about the U.S. deportees. It was a lot to take in, so much for that. I'm writing to express my concerns about the online gambling framework in Nevis. As someone who's worked in the industry, I know the U.S. government stance on online gambling is strict. I am worried Premier Mark Brantley might be unaware of the potential implications for Nevis's reputation. We've had issues with other ventures like the movie company and SSZ, and now online gambling. Who are these investors, and have they been vetted? As a small nation, we can't afford to compromise our integrity. I urge you to consider the potential risks and consequences. Who's behind these laws and investor invitations? We need transparency and accountability. Thanks, reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. And as it's a Russian living in Antigua behind that online gambling. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Good night, sir. How are you? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, my brother. All is
and
well?
I would like to pass on that to my friend.
Okay, my brother. Yes.
My farmer,
Yes.
Patrick, through the night, I was listening to a program, a talk program, and I heard one of the panelists said that so many things happening here on Ireland. And I had to call him, well, not him, but the program, and ask him to point out something what he sees happening here. I asked about capital projects. Well, I didn't get a response. They respond, but they couldn't say where is a capital project then for the past 3 years. Going on 4 now. And soon on the 5. Now tonight you played a clip with the premier of Nevis and saying a lot of things going on in Tinker. What's going on in Tinker, Patrick? Can you tell me that something that I don't know?
Well, he spoke about Fort Thomas Hotel. That's one. We don't know much about it anyway.
But this is what brought me to call you, Patrick, because after the clip you play, he said Tinker is advancing in what way? Me ain't seeing none. When something happened that me ain't seeing.
Well, that is true because we haven't seen the Barcy High School, we haven't seen the airport, we haven't seen his creative arts center. We just heard a lot of talk, but the only thing we've seen is a lot of excavation, a lot of digging up, as we say in local terms, of the property down there at Fort Thomas. If you ride around there, you'll see it. But we don't know much about that project either. Yeah.
That is what I'm questioning. I don't know if somebody see what I can't see.
Right. Yes.
Anyway, that's my input for tonight.
Thanks a lot for your input.
No problem.
Well said, my brother. Now tell me, read this email. If a development involves selling a large percentage of the island, shouldn't it come to the parliament? You takes us for idiots. The SSC is unlike anything we've ever seen before. In addition to that, look at what will be happening in the SSZ, a country within a country. Nowhere in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis has this ever happened. Even legal minds have said that the law is bad. Well, I guess, like Brantley said, none of them are smarter than he is, so I don't know. Reads this email. This other email reads, good night, Mr. Liebert. Do you listen to this joker? I'm wondering if it was Olivier who sent the proposal to Drew, because he said he was advised that the proposal was sent on the 23rd. It's a Nevis project. So why he want the federal government approval? I really want to see if Drew is that stupid to approve it. Mark did it in a way because it will fail and the federal government will have to pay out the millions. He can't finish the hospital. He can't finish the water taxi building, the Munda track, Butler's Road, Long Point Road. So why is he pushing so for Destiny? The Brantleys will benefit all the way, reads this other email. My Straight Talk family, it's 12 before the 10 o'clock hour. Remember, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 until 10 p.m. I normally give you some extra time, and I'm always minded to do that if we have the conversation going. But Brantley and this Destiny project he has advanced, he has now gone insular.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never seen no placard and I never seen no protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brandt is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
Well, Joe has applied his discretion under the the SSZ Act, under the Act, and set up what he called his ad hoc committee. Joe has signaled to the Federation that he's even willing to go back to Parliament. But Mark Brantley does not like that. So he has become insular, out of order. Can't stand up to Oliver Johnson's. Want to stand up to the Prime Minister and telling us about petitions. We want to see Nevis progress, but we want to see development, but development must come within the parameters of the laws, the Constitution. My Straight Talk family, let's go back to the lines, caller. Thank you for holding this 9 before 10 o'clock. You're live.
Yes. Yes, again, Patches. This is the voice of our independent candidate, Winston. Welcome. Second part I have to mention. I hope when the Prime Minister and his ad hoc committee come to the conclusion that the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis favor the Premier of Nevis and his wife is prepared to give back Olive Johnson or Jensen what they collected from him. They are fighting so hard for that deal to go through, for their pocket to remain deep. But I believe if he need me to be a tailor to shorten the pocket after I take out what they collected, well, I can do that.
Well, let me interject here, my brother. I understand where you're going, right? But just to be clear, we cannot confirm that they collected anything from Olivier Johnson's.
I didn't
but it's yeah, but I know that. But I gotta be cautious here.
Yes,
I prefer you to be forthright and say that, because he said it. I have no problem if you say that she was the go-between. She's the realtor, so she will collect some fees, fees for helping to sell the land. I mean, that is in order with me, right? But to be so loose, I get a little bit uneasy. Okay? But I understand you, but please, I have to be cautious because Straight Talk is under the microscope. You know what?
And I
you know what Lucifer tried to do. Imagine what Mark Brantley and Mama Brantley will try to do. So let's talk about the fees for being the go-between the landowners and the developer. I'll be more comfortable with that.
All right. I will leave it there. But last but not least, I hope the Prime Minister will be the Prime Minister that he was elected for and stand for and looked up to. And you don't let this situation that we find ourselves in to be overruled, overpowered, or undermined. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Imagine Olivier Johnson said to Brantley, this project should not go into the new year, should not go into January. He said this.
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far, but that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
So he didn't want it to go past the new year. So what did his house slave do? He did this.
Destiny proposal, I can report that the Nevis Island administration, after exhaustive town halls and stakeholder engagements and feedback and exhaustive engagement with the proposers for Destiny, that we would have sent our approval for this particular project to the attention of the Prime Minister on the 23rd of December 2025. That's the date that I'm advised it was sent.
So my straight talk family, Johnson said he doesn't want to go in the new year. So this Belgian told Mark Brantley to jump before January, because he was not going into the new year. And Mark Brantley, like a house slave, jumped in December and sent the documents. He said he was told, sent the documents to Drew for his signature. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Patches. Let me get a couple seconds. Let me get back in real quick.
Yes.
When the Prime Minister, the clip you played with the Prime Minister tonight, right? You notice he said everything else except if he got that the deal, the project, the Destiny project, if that was on his desk from Mark Brantley. He mentioned everything else except that. And also when he was up at that Freedom Radio studio, that host should have asked him the hard question. Do you have that Destiny project signed on your desk by Mark Brantley? But the Prime Minister, in the name of transparency, he should have said that. He said everything else.
That's true.
And maybe lastly, because this is where you got to figure out the timetables and also the lies that these guys are telling us. And Patches, maybe I'll leave it here for the night, man.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There's a meeting scheduled. Now, Patches, one more thing I wanted to say before I get off. Please, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
There's a meeting set up in St. Kitts with the CARICOM heads. And I'm just going to say, man, when we've been talking about all these regional issues and all these issues, affecting the CARICOM islands, the people in St. Kitts and Nevis will have a chance to be outside of that venue or venues with their placards, with their thoughts on those placards.
Okay.
Showing disapproval of our CARICOM leaders. And I'll leave it there for the night, man. Patches, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, my brother.
Patches, one more thing. Sorry. Yes. The voters list that I heard was put out recently. They need to get that up on social media, man, because there's a block of citizens that's in the diaspora that need to check that list. We're not physically on the ground.
Okay.
That voters list need to be on the social media.
They took it down.
Talking about transparent. Yes, talking about transparency. We need to be vigilant.
Okay.
And we need to know if our names is on there or not. That should be on social media.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, man. I'll leave it there, Patches. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for your contribution. We go back to the line and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live.
Old Mr. Patches, good night.
Mr. Bibleman, you're the one I have holding. I profusely apologize. I apologize.
Mr. Patches, I want to say something tonight there, and I don't know what can take place. But I want to say, the first thing I am going to say, my scripture verse, blessed is the man that consider the poor.
In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Mr. Pattis, when you consider the poor, Mr. Pattis, nothing gonna go around you. But when you grab and grab and grab, listen, Mr. Pattis, remember the Lord is watching you. And I want to say tonight, Mr. Pattis, I always like to bring in, there is a deliverer in St. Kitts Nevis, and nobody knows but God. And listen, God had chosen a deliverer, just as he chosen Moses to lead the children of Israel. And I want to say tonight, Mr. Pattis, God is a just God. And God is no respecter of no person. What he said to one, he said to all. And I want to say, you see, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Pattis. God do not make joke. And I am going to say, all what happening today, it is supposed to happen. Because the day is coming. Reckoning time is coming. And you don't have to give, and you don't have to bring no witnesses. And I'm going to say, right now, a God ruling this whole universe here, and what election is coming, and a God that direct it. Prayer and fasting is moving. And so, I believe with all my heart, Mr. Pattis, that election is in the air in 2026, and one man is going to be the Prime Minister. That is, I am going to say something. The Word of God said in Psalms 37, you hear it tell you? Fret not yourself because of evil doers.
Neither thou be envious.
Neither be envious against the work of iniquity.
Yes.
That is no evil doer going to run this country, you know?
Yes, my brother. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
No evil doer.
Yes.
God have a just person to run this country. God have a man who can look after the poor people. And so, all you have to do, Mr. Pattis, and the last passage of scripture I am going to give you, Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the sacred place of the Most High
shall abide, my brother.
Shall abide on the shadow of thy mighty. Yes. I will say to the Lord, He is my refuge, and my fortress in God. That is, reckoning time is coming.
Thank you, my brother.
Revelation, I can tell you, man can rejoice because God have His hand and everything. Don't worry about it.
Okay, my brother. Thanks a lot.
Do not worry at all. See you, bye.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's just about that time when I should be wrapping. I'll perhaps take two more calls if my callers would be guided by the rules of brevity. You remember Mark Brantley said this?
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
Nobody could outsmart Mark. But Olivier Johnson seems to be outsmarting him all along. It seems that way. Johnson said he was not going into the new year. And Mark Brantley, like a house slave, jumped in December and sent the documents to Drew for approval. Yes, he sent the documents on December 23rd.
The proposal has gone through, the agreement has gone through various iterations. The agreement, of course, is not yet signed, but we have signaled to the Prime Minister that we are comfortable with what has been proposed, and that was done on the 23rd of December. As we know the process, it now shifts to Bastille for them to look at it, but we are expecting that that will be dealt with in short order, largely because this is a Nevis project. This is not a federal project, it is not a Sinkits-based project, it's a Nevis project. And the Nevis Island Administration has determined that this project will advance the development of the island of Nevis. And we stand behind the project because we think it's a good project for Nevis.
What does he mean when he say the Nevis has determined that the project will advance? Now, 3 or 4 or 5 persons in the Nevis Island Administration cabinet decides that this project, this agreement must advance. Under pressure, no doubt, from Olivier Johnson, who wanted the project not to go into the new year. So Mark Brantley made sure he got it to the Prime Minister, he said, on Christmas Eve. Am I correct? Or the night, 2 nights before Christmas Eve. But Mark Brantley displayed no integrity. He displayed no substance. He came across as someone who was not yet emancipated. Just like a weakling. So what did he expect Drew to do? Just sign it? Terence Michael Drew applied his discretion under the Act. But even before that, he set up what he called an ad hoc committee, where the legislation speaks to this committee, an independent oversight committee. I don't know if that's what Drew is calling the ad hoc committee. But Drew set up this committee, my Straight Dog family, sometime the last couple of weeks.
The other matter we'll talk to is about the SSZ, the Sustainability Zone. I want to say that 2 meetings already have been had with the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
The ad hoc committee, of course, is an extensive committee that I think is about 15. But if I mention some of them, we have the Sinkits Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Trades and Labor Union, Bankers and Financial Services, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, Eastern Caribbean. Well, these are going to report. They're going to be a part of the committee in terms of giving us their feedback. We have Organization of Rastafari Unity, where it was extended. The Sinkits Nevis Medical and Dental Association. We also have the Bar Association. That is a fundamental part of it. Is that we have the St. Christopher Trust. That is actually a part of this as well. And so we have all these organizations that are coming together to advise. So they have already looked at the SSZ law, and what I've said to them, never before has this happened in Sinkits. We see major developments, but nothing has ever come to a committee and then go to Parliament. We are shifting that. Why am I shifting that? Because there had been the major developments in St. Kitts and Nevis where that had not happened. Whether they were good or bad is not the discussion. It is that our people should have a direct say. And so you can look at the past and learn and seek to strengthen it.
And Joe, true or false, said he will be willing to go back to the parliament.
It has nothing to do with Destiny. Destiny is a project that is being proposed that has not reached the committee as yet. That is being proposed. SSZ is a law that says any major project to be proposed in St. Kitts and Nevis must come through a process and must go to Parliament. I mean, you can't get more transparent than that. So I want to thank those who came to the SSZ, to the meeting to discuss the act itself. They are proposing, along with us, how ways in which we can strengthen it. And I will go back to Parliament as much as I have to strengthen the law.
And he said he'll go back to Parliament. And that did not sit well with Brantley.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never seen a placard and I never seen a protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brandt is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
And he want to push around the Prime Minister. And getting
developments are happening right
insular
in St. Kitts as we speak. Kittitians don't have a problem with development in St. Kitts. But Kittitians are telling Nevisians that we should not develop the South Coast in Nevis. Oh, that could, no, sir. How that could make sense? How that could make sense? And that is the problem I have, and maybe people don't like, because, you know, the problem I have in the country, you know, Mr. Huey, when you talk like this, they say I'm being divisive. They like to say I'm being divisive. Well, how is it being divisive? By telling the truth.
Being divisive. But as I said as I close, in the old days, Robert Welland Bradshaw would have summoned Mark to Bassett, to Capital, and stick him with the rod of correction. Bradshaw would have reminded him of his God and put him in his place and send him back across the Narrows to Nevis. We have heard about sheriffs being feared and later about sheriffs being shot. But leadership is not proven on a platform, Brantley. It is proven at a desk with a pen, making decisions that affect real people and real futures. The Destiny Project under the SSZ legislation now sits before the Prime Minister, and with it sits a defining choice. Destiny is more than a project. It is the real test of whether anyone truly shot the sheriff, or whether the era of empty political bravado has finally come to an end. The Destiny SSZ decision functions as a leadership test because it forces the Prime Minister to choose between cooperation and control, between partnership and politics. The decision will reveal not what was said on campaign platforms, but what kind of leader he ultimately is, to be determined by destiny, power, and the leadership tests. And we'll have no need to ask if Drew shot the sheriff. That's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. I will include your calls and your emails. I'm tempted to take this call if a caller can use 10 seconds. Can you?
Patches, I was trying to run from I was trying to run from the party politics.
Yeah, but I can only give you 15 seconds, eh?
Yeah, Patches, yeah. After the unity scramble, but Patches. I was running from the party politics and company and talk consciously about the country, because I think this administration, the people in choose, will not do better for the people. But Patrick saying this, I must give Dr. Harris some credit as the leader of the unity government at the time he was there. I must give him some credit, Patrick. With the sugar workers, when he said that he going to campaign, so you give them back the rest money. Patrick, people were proud and people were glad, and a lot of people had bills to pay and they paid the bill and do whatever. So I must give Dr. Harris some credit. I was trying to run from the party politics, but since they want politics, they're going to get politics, Patrick. Because I know election coming up soon, and I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, Patrick. And Patrick, you have a wonderful night. May God bless you and keep you. And I tell the people in the diaspora, I see what's going on in our country. I see what's going on in this country. Okay. The people of this country, they don't have no words anymore.
Okay.
All right then, Patrick, have a wonderful night. And next week, Monday.
Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend as well. And the decision that Mark Brantley awaits from the Prime Minister will tell the country whether cooperation was genuine or merely convenient, and or whether federal balance is respected or being quietly undermined. This is where authority meets accountability. This is where rhetoric ends. Ultimately, this single act will define not who talked toughest, but who led. And any fallout, Terrence Michael Drew, will be to your detriment. So, as we wrap, I'll tell you one more time. Destiny SSC decision functions as a leadership test, because it will force Prime Minister Drew to choose between cooperation and control, partnership and politics. The decision will reveal not what was said, but what kind of leader Dr. Drew ultimately is. And that will be determined by destiny, power, and the leadership tests. And no need to ask if Drew shot the sheriff. And that's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers, the listeners, those who call, those who send emails. Remember, you are the ones who make straight talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Patches, every time I hear that clip with Drew talking about the springtime crew, I just laugh so hard. Right. He sounds so woozy. I will want to know who is this springtime crew is. Patches, do you know who is the springtime crew? And there's a summertime crew, a winter and autumn crew, and why springtime crew? That sounds so jokey. People actually bought that crap during the campaign. And my quotation for tonight, I'll leave with you. When someone feels that they have power to do whatever they want, then their behavior will eliminate any question of who they are. And my Street Dog family, I just thank you one more time. And I pray and trust you'll have a wonderful weekend. Go to church, do your chores, and remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Street Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life. the Lord I kneel and pray with my heart and soul. Beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide over every step I take. He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could, till I reach the top somehow. My way with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true,